Well, here we are, Patmos Island. Marvellous place to visit. In fact, when I reached Patmos Island, I sent an email back to my wife. I was very fortunate to be on tour there with a group of 12 pastors, and I sent an email back to my wife saying, "Exile me to this Greek island any day." Man, prison, 2,000 years ago it would have been different. The Roman Empire had conquered the world, soldiers everywhere. There were no beautiful houses here on Patmos Island. It was just desert, it was desolate, and there was a prison. We're now looking at a monastery built by the Christians, the ones who followed St. John's footsteps. The Christian church ended up conquering the Roman Empire. Paganism for Rome turned Christian Rome. And then what happened as the centuries go by, pirates begin to attack the Greek islands. And so the monks who lived here 1,100 years after Christ built this monastery, which is also a fortress. Why? Because although they're Christian, it wasn't protecting them from pirates. You see, God doesn't protect Christians from the problems of everyday life. If he did that all the time, well, I mean, think about it. Would that be fair? No, God is the Father, the Bible says, of all of us, good or bad, whether we love him or whether we rebel. And God sends his rain to shine on the just, the good, and the unjust, those who just don't want to know about him. And so the Christians back here needed to build this fortress to defend themselves against attacks, whilst also they were praying and having their prayers. It was in this particular cave that this monastery is built on top of that the monks 1,000 years after Christ believed St. John received his vision, the revelation, the apocalypse vision. It's written down in a scroll. It's sent to churches. He says he's received it from God through Jesus, through an angel to John. He writes it in a scroll, sends it off to the 7 churches that he lived in. They copy the letter, and the copies have survived until our time today. That's why you and I are able to read the amazing story of St. John. The monks in this monastery believe that the high point of his entire 22-chapter prophecy is where he says, "Fear God, give him glory," because look, he created absolutely everything. God's real, he's big, and he's still there for you, even when you can't see him. Now, St. John didn't feel as if God was with him, but God blessed him with a vision, and he saw God's presence, the presence of Jesus Christ, there with him on the island. And the question that we need to ask is, if St. John sees Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago, when all hope was gone and when everything was lost, would it be possible that you and I could see Jesus Christ ourselves today? Yes, it is. You see, John wrote his letters. The letters have been kept, the letters remain, and you and I can read about his story. When we read about it, meditate about it, think about it, it becomes real for us today. I felt really sad saying goodbye to Patmos Island.